Hello friends, welcome to my channel again, and today we are going to learn about the free vibrations and forced vibrations. So this particular video will be depend upon or will be made for these free vibrations and forced vibrations. So generally we have to see or generally we have seen or we daily seen some vibrations around us, and among that we cannot say specifically which are the free vibrations and which are the forced vibrations. So don't worry, this is not that much complicated topic, but yes, we must understand what type of exactly vibrations we should call them as the free vibrations and which type of vibrations we should call them as the forced vibrations. Again, we will see here in this video what are the damped vibrations and undamped vibrations also, and yes, this is all about we have to see in this today's video. So yes, let's begin. And right here in the next slide, first of all we will see about the vibrations, which type of motion, which type of systems are known as the vibratory systems, or generally what is exactly known as the vibration, right? So when we have any body, moreover the elastic body, and that elastic body if you have displaced from any position, or we call it as mean position, if we have that body and we displace that particular body from its mean position, and after releases, that means we are applying some force, yes or no, you are displacing a body. Now let us consider initially this body is at this point, let us say it is an elastic body, and you are displacing that elastic body from one point to another point. That means you have applied a little bit force, and if you release that force, now I have taken this body at this point and I have released that force. After releases, what happens, due to the elastic nature of this body, due to the internal strain energy, this body tries to gain its original position, try to get to its original position, right? This particular property we call it as elastic property, and due to that what happens, whatever may be the energy provided to that particular body due to this external force, and after releases, that particular strain energy converted into the kinetic energy, and this body goes to the mean position, and surprisingly that body does not stop at the mean position. What happens? Yes, it has some extra energy, and that extra energy cannot be imparted to the mean position, and the body cannot stay exactly to the mean position at rest position. What happens? Again, that body's energy will again get converted at the mean position, get converted into the kinetic energy, and that body, this is what the initial mean position, we have displaced that body to this position and releases, then that body does not stop at the mean position. Yes, due to the internal strain energy, that strain energy again convert into the kinetic energy, and that body goes to opposite direction by some displacement, right? So yes, we know that, and due to that energy, again at this point, yes, that particular energy becomes zero, kinetic energy, then the total strain energy will be here, and that strain energy again still have some the potential to convert it into the kinetic energy, and at this point again that strain energy completely gets converted into the kinetic energy, and body comes to the mean position. Again we still have some energy, so again it goes to the another extreme position, again mean position, then extreme position. So these two external positions we called them as extreme position, and which was the earlier position, that was our central position, or it is what equilibrium position or mean position, right? So here what happens, this body due to that elastic energy performs such a motion, it starts from mean position, yes, due to some external force. Initially it comes to the external position, but as soon as we take to the external position, extreme position, we release the force, but now due to the internal elastic property, elastic force or strain energy, body continues to move this type of motion from one extreme position to mean position, then another extreme position, then mean, then another extreme, and so on. So such a motion is known as vibratory motion, and such a system is known as vibratory system. Okay, so that's what we have written here in this particular slide, and the reason behind this is what, the deforming force, whatever may be the internal strain, because of that internal strain energy, the body is having some deforming force. That deforming force always tries to get the body at the mean position, but that body does not stop because of some excess energy, it goes to the another extreme position. And that is what the property of our elastic body. We know that body always try to get to its original shape and size. That is what we call the elastic body. Now here we can say a tuning fork is vibrating, and that's whatever I said, that is also true. Initially that tuning fork will be like this at equilibrium position, but if somebody comes and applied some force, means try to bring those two knobs of the tuning fork closer, and if we release, then that tuning fork starts vibrating. So this was originally mean position, then it goes to the extreme position, then mean position again comes closer, that means that is another extreme position. So you can say here, so this is what we can say a vibratory system, and that system does not vibrate by itself. We need to apply some external force initially. Okay, again depends on that external force applied, whether you are continuing the force or whether you applied the force only once, depends on that. We have different types of vibratory systems or vibrations or vibratory motions. Okay, now that we will see in the next part, but here, yes, this such a motion is called as vibratory motion. This is the best example because tuning fork at least everybody have seen in their intermediate level, so that's why I have given this example. So tuning fork, obviously when we are talking about that, the whole of the kinetic energy is assigned to convert into the strain energy. That's what I said here initially. Due to the strain energy, this is simply the conversion between strain energy and kinetic energy. When we are displacing body initially, then that strain energy will be within that body, and as soon as we release the body, what happens, that strain energy get converted into the kinetic energy, and therefore body brings itself through the mean position. Okay, and same is true when it goes to the another extreme position and so on. So such motion is known as vibratory motion. So this is the first point you must understand when we are talking about the free vibrations and force vibration. First of all, we must know what is vibration. Okay, so this type of motion is known as vibrations or vibratory motion. Right, now again, vibration, mechanical vibration is defined as the measurement of a periodic process of oscillation. So here this is also one kind of vibration, we can say the oscillation also, and that particular measurement of those oscillations also we can consider it as vibration. And obviously we are considering or we are measuring that vibrations with respect to one particular point, and that point we named it as mean point, mean position or equilibrium point. Here now this simple pendulum is taking oscillations, and this particular vertical axis, okay, that vertical axis we can consider it as mean position. Initially it was at the mean position, and let us consider by some force we have taken to its one extreme position and then release, then it goes to the mean position initially, then goes to the another extreme position, and it continues the oscillation. So such a cyclic motion of a body or a system due to the elastic deformation under the action of external forces is known as vibration. Okay, right. Now when we considered the vibration, 2-3 things or 2-3 concepts we need to understand regarding vibratory motion. When we say the vibratory motion or vibration, so the first thing is what the time period of vibration, then what is meant by one cycle, and then what is the frequency. So these three terms are generally used, mostly used when we are dealing with vibratory motion. Okay, so period of vibration means what? Yes, it is the time interval after which the motion is repeated itself. Yes or no? That means what? Now let us consider this simple pendulum example. So let us start from this point. Now it is going to the mean position and coming to the, and when it comes to the mean position, that position from where we left it, that is what we call one time period. That means what? Yes, that is I have released simple pendulum from this point. Yes, as soon as we release, it goes to the mean position, central whatever may be that red axis is the mean position. It goes to the another extreme position, here is another extreme position, and again comes to the mean position, and then again to the original position. So that particular time required for this process is called as time period, or in other words we call it as one cycle, and then the time required for one complete cycle, it is also time period. But here cycle, it is the motion completed during one time period. That's why we cannot say the time required for one cycle, because the we have written the definition of cycle itself based on the time period. So what we are saying, the cycle, a cycle is what? The motion performed or within one complete time period, that is what we can say one cycle, or reverse also we can say the time required for one cycle, it is called as time period, right? Okay, now the frequency. Again, the frequency means in one time period how many cycles that particular system is performing. Now let us consider, I am taking about one particular time period. Let us consider 2 seconds is the time period of this particular motion, and yes, within 2 seconds how many number of cycles are performed, that is what we call say the frequency. Okay, right. Now yes, whatever we have defined, it is the number of cycles described in 1 second. Generally in 1 second how many number of cycles are defined, that is called time period, frequency. in 1 second, doesn't matter whatever may be time period, but in 1 second let us consider 10 number of cycles that particular system is performing, then that is what we call the frequency 10. And yes, obviously it is what in hertz, but it is cycles per second, because we are talking about how many cycles in 1 second. That's why the unit of frequency is cycles per second, and that is nothing but the hertz, and it is generally denoted as capital H and small z, that is the notation for hertz, cycles per second. Okay, right. Now again we will see what are the different types of vibratory motion. Okay, so first type is what free or natural vibrations, then forced vibrations, here it is free vibrations, then forced vibrations and damped vibrations. So free vibrations means what, when we are first initially I am taking the system from equilibrium position to extreme position by applying this external force, and as soon as I release, then after that system performs its motion without any external force. That is what we call the free vibrations or natural vibration. That means the system needs to set once only for its motion, and once we set the motion, once we applied initially the force, and that's why the motion system is performing motion, and that motion, that vibrations are continuous without application of any external force. That is called free vibrations. Yes, are you getting? That means what I am saying, initially I am taking the simple pendulum to the extreme position and I am releasing there, and then after let us consider that simple pendulum is taking the vibrations continuously. Now there is no any external force. Such vibrations are known as free vibrations or natural vibrations. Okay, right. Then next one is the forced vibration. So for forced vibration, you need to apply the force after any particular interval of time. That means what, this particular simple pendulum I am taking, took it as from its original position and I release, and after 1 or 2 cycles I feel that no, I should apply the external force after every time, after particular interval of time, so that it will continue its motion, and that's why means after every 2 seconds I am applying the same force to that particular simple pendulum. That type of vibrations are known as forced vibration. That means you need to apply, or whenever you are applying a periodic force to the system, whenever you are applying a periodic force to the system to continue its vibrations, that is what we call the forced vibrations. Yes, that's what we have written here. So I am not just okay, if you want, yes, what we have written here, when a body vibrates under the influence of the external force, then the body is said to be under forced vibrations. Yes, the body is vibrating under the influence of external force. That means every particular interval of time the force is applied to the system, and due to that force only the body is taking vibrations, and if that force is removed, the body can stop its vibrations after some time, and that is what we call. And we don't want that. We should apply some force so that the body or the system can continue its vibration, and those vibrations are known as forced vibrations. Okay, right. The vibrations of force vibration do not have any natural frequency. They are vibrating with the frequency which is exactly equal to the frequency of applied force. Remember, that is important point. Whatever we have written here, last statement, the vibration have the same frequency as the applied force. Here the frequency of that particular in free vibration or in natural vibration, once you set the body will vibrate, and that body do not have any external force, and therefore whatever may be the frequency of that oscillation or the vibration, that frequency is known as fundamental frequency or natural frequency or free frequency. But here in forced vibration, whatever may be the frequency of your applied force, that frequency is exactly equal to the vibration frequency. Okay, right. And third category of our vibratory motion is the damped vibrations. So damped vibration means what? If you set the body into particular vibrations, and after some time the body or after every cycle body reduces its amplitude, or whatever may be the motion reduces the amplitude of motion. That means that is what we call the damped vibration. Initially amplitude, you know that this particular thing means this extreme position and this extreme position, whatever may be the distance, that is what we call amplitude. Now when we say the free vibrations or natural vibrations, and yes, we are initially taking it to one particular extreme position and we are releasing. Now once we release, initially let us consider the amplitude was likewise. For the second cycle amplitude decreases, for the third cycle amplitude decreases, and so on, and at a particular time or after some time the body have zero amplitude, that means there is no vibration. So that type of vibrations in which after a few times or after every cycle amplitude goes on decreases, and once it becomes zero, that type of vibrations are known as damped vibrations. And yes, this is happens because of resistive forces when we are dealing with the simple pendulum. And if you set that simple pendulum into the vibration, and after some time when you are talking about the air medium, that means the simple pendulum is kept in air medium also, then also its amplitude goes decaying, and after some time its amplitude becomes zero. That means that body or that simple pendulum stops oscillating. Why? Because of air resistive forces, right? Or some dust particles are there, and all these resistive forces what we can say, the decreases amplitude after every cycle, and therefore that type of motion is called as damped vibration. And if we talk about the same simple pendulum, we are taking its oscillation, we are observing its oscillation into a vacuum. Let us consider a box is there, and that box is within that box we have created a vacuum, and once we set the simple pendulum into the oscillation and we kept into that vacuum, and the vacuum is, let us consider, perfect vacuum, then that particular simple pendulum can take the vibrations infinitely longer time. Yes, because there is no any resistive force. But if we take that simple pendulum when it is vibrating in vacuum, and if we take it to the air medium, obviously after some time the amplitude decreases, and once it becomes zero, and therefore oscillations can stop. Again, if we consider the same system, from vacuum I am taking and I am dipping into the water. So obviously here the water is having more resistive force than air, and therefore whatever may be the time required to decay the amplitude in air, here in water again the amplitude goes decaying very fastly, and after very few time the simple pendulum can stop vibration. So such motions, such vibrations in which amplitude decreases and becomes zero and body stops vibrating, that particular motion is known as damped motion or damped vibrations, right.